Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
I don't know.
Pull the trigger one more time. Keep going. All right, there you go. Put on safe and stay.
Oh, sorry.
Think a backfiring gun sounds dangerous? Just wait till you see how easy it is to have your money backfire on you.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, Tony Walker.
If you got it, you don't need it. If you need it, you don't got it. You don't get it, shame on you. Funny, funny, funny what money can do. Them that have it, get more of it. The less they need it, the more they love it. And it sticks to them like glue. Funny, funny, funny what money can do.
Welcome to the Worry-Free Retirement, folks. And yes, we're talking about guns backfiring on you. And guess what? The best laid plans of mice and men can backfire on you too, as we see with retirement planning each day and each day out here at the Worry-Free Retirement, and also in my practice at Tony Walker Financial. I am Tony Walker, and with me in the studio is America's favorite financial sidekick, Mr. Aaron Orander. How you doing today, Aaron?
Good morning, sir. I'm doing good. And yourself?
Doing very good, doing very good. And I'm not a big gun enthusiast. I've been around some guns on and off all my life, but I don't even know if I'm using this term correctly. I know guns have kicks. I like to call it backfiring. Would you say, we're watching some videos as we speak, I know we're on radio, but Aaron, would you say that's a kick of a gun, or is it backfiring when it literally knocks somebody on their you-know-what?
Well, I would say the term kick means like, yeah, the gun's got a little kick to it. Backfiring, when I hear the word backfire, I think like the gun has exploded in somebody's hand. That's what I think.
Well, so yeah, the people out there, the gun enthusiasts, may be saying, yeah, Tony, Aaron's correct on that, but it sounds a lot more dangerous and visual if you think of backfiring. So we had some fun with this. We were looking at clips for the TV show, and if you ever want to check out the Worry-Free Retirement TV show or DVR it, folks, we can give a lot more graphics, a lot more information on that. Just go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Also, Aaron, somebody mentioned the other day, I was at church, and they said, hey, you used to have all these shows on the website at Tony Walker Financial, and we have forgot to mention that. We now have all of our videos on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type in Tony Walker Financial if you want to go back and watch past episodes or any video clicks. As well, if you'd like to get on our email list, about once a week we send out an instructional video, about 5 minutes long, to our email list. So if you want to be on our email list, just go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Tell us that you want to opt in, and we'll get that to you. They come out about once a week. So I got to thinking about the idea, if you're looking at any of these clips, if you go to YouTube, just Google on YouTube, just type in video of people with guns backfiring on them or whatever, and you'll just see all kinds of hilarious clips. But there's a pattern, okay? Every time I watch these clips, there's two people involved. The first party seems to know something about guns, so let's call them the gun owner, all right? And then the second party, the one that the gun backfires on, is what I would call the unsuspecting victim. And sometimes these are females, but even males, it doesn't matter. And you hear this kind of coaching going on. Let's play that clip again, Aaron. And if you listen closely, you have the gun owner who has given the gun to the unsuspecting novice, we'll call it, who doesn't, you can tell, know anything about it. And listen to what they say to this novice before the novice kind of blindly pulls the trigger.
Comes together, lined up. There you go. Squeeze the trigger. What happened?
So you got the stage, right? You have someone that is a so-called expert in guns who talks a novice into handling a potentially very dangerous and deadly instrument called a gun, right? And then it backfires, and the unsuspecting novice gets hit upside the head or knocked on their you-know-what, and then usually the gun owner is laughing in the background. And, but your finances are kind of like that, folks, and we're going to talk about that today. Whether you realize this or not, You are that unsuspecting gun handler. We call them financial instruments. And the financial world is supposed to know the safety features of these instruments. They're supposed to know what instruments are more dangerous. This is a show for savers, so we're talking about things and strategies that are dangerous for savers that the financial world keeps telling you to do. And then here's the problem: when that gun, that financial instrument, backfires on you, you're the one that's getting kicked on your new you-know-what and having to wipe the dust off your rear end, while the gun owner or the financial world sits there and sometimes kind of laughs. Think about it. All of these strategies, all of these products, the financial world, and I'm in this financial world, so I benefit too, folks, so don't get me wrong, but the financial world makes money on your money, whether the thing backfires or not. Have you ever thought about that? They do. They either are going to earn a commission on your money, they're going to earn a fee on your money, or in the case of many cases, banks, for instance, they earn a spread on your money. So either way, folks, none of these financial institutions, including yours truly, we're not in this for free. So the question is, if you're going to go to the financial firing range and have somebody start handing you financial weapons that could either help you or hurt you, the real question, I think, comes down to trust. Who are you going to trust to hand you that financial weapon that's supposed to help you rather than hurt you? So today's show, what we're going to do, we're going to cover the 4 most common strategies I see that backfire on savers as they get into retirement. When I return, we're going to go through all 4. You stay tuned. You're listening to the Worry-Free Retirement.
It only happens one time, and only 75 people can attend this exclusive free screening of the breakthrough documentary, The Power of Zero. The Tax Train is coming. Thursday, April 18th at 7:30 p.m. at Greenwood Mall 10 Theater in Bowling Green. This shocking film reveals why you could be paying far more in taxes in retirement and how you can defend yourself. If you've saved at least $250,000 in retirement assets or make more than $150,000 per year, claim your free ticket now by registering at TonyWalkerFinancial.com/movie.
What if there was a financial product that could guarantee an income you could never outlive? A product that is not at risk in the stock market? Well, there is, and it's called an annuity. And for the past 34 years, I've personally helped thousands of savers secure over $300 million of annuities. So why risk your hard-earned money when you don't have to? Let's meet in person to see if an annuity is right for you. Log on today to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement, and we're making an analogy between a gun that kicks the you-know-what out of you or even backfires on you versus a financial instrument, or in this case a financial gun that's all loaded and ready to go that the financial world hands off to you. And just like a regular gun, if you don't know what you're doing with it, you could really shoot yourself in the foot. By the way, I'm with America's favorite financial sidekick, Aaron Orander. Aaron, do you remember the first time in your life, I do actually, when somebody handed you a real gun? I'm not talking about a BB gun, and you fired it.
A real gun?
Real gun.
Yeah, I remember the first time.
How old were you?
Oh, I was a teenager. I don't remember exactly. It was my Nana's gun.
Oh, Nana. Did Nana show you how to fire it? She'd go, come here, Aaron.
No, she just kind of gave it to me. She didn't want it anymore, so she was like, here you go, sweetheart.
Yeah, well, that was back in the day when nobody worried about child safety issues, right? So did you fire it?
Not then, but I did take it to the range and fire it. I had to clean it first. It was pretty old.
Who helped you fire it? Who was with you?
My brother-in-law.
So you trusted him?
Yeah,
You didn't
absolutely.
kick you or knock you back? Or
No, it was just a little revolver. It wasn't a rifle or anything.
Okay, see, I grew up around my Uncle Eddie. Uncle Eddie was a jokester. Uncle Eddie was quite a bit older than me, and I never forget, he drags out a single-shot old shotgun. Okay. And my granddaddy says, hey, Dad, can I take Tony out and show him how to shoot it? Back then my granddad's like, whatever. So I never forget, we went out in the field there, and Eddie had it loaded, just put in the one shell, one cartridge, and I pointed it. He didn't say anything. He said, now just point it and fire it. See, I've shot BB guns before. And I mean, that thing, when it kicked back, I didn't have it locked and loaded up against my shoulder. I'll never forget how painful that was. So it didn't backfire. We're trying to determine the technical term, but it kick the you-know-what out of me. So same thing, folks. I trusted my Uncle Eddie to show me how to use that gun properly, and he did not. And he got the last laugh, of course. So what are the 4 things that I've seen in the past 34 years? I actually could name more than 4, but I just kind of picked out 4 things that I've seen for savers that as they get into retirement, this is financial advice they've received over the years, but as they get into retirement, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes this particular advice or these strategies I'm going to share with you come back and backfire on you. So let's start off with number 1. This is the most common since 1978. This has been the most frequent advice given to savers, and here it goes. It's called maxing out your 401k plan. Maxing out your 401k plan. And you may have heard this before. So let's think about, most of you are eligible for a retirement account known as a 401k. It could be a 403b, thrift savings account. And because it's pre-tax, the last episodes, by the way, we talked about all this. I'm not going to go into detail, but since a 401k is pre-tax, in other words, you don't pay any current taxes on it, what the financial world, namely Wall Street, who's holding all this money while you don't get to use it, what they've been telling you is, you need to put the maximum you can allowed by law, 22.5 or whatever that number is now. Put it all in there. Forget, even if you don't get a match, because what's happening is it's pre-tax. It's assumed to be tax savings. And as we have seen from the last several episodes, that's all well and good if you're in a lower bracket one day, but if you're in the same bracket or higher bracket, really all you've done is just hog-tied your money. And then when you get into retirement, as we are seeing as we work with so many savers who are retiring now, all of those taxes, I call it a tax tumor, all of those taxes buried within that 401k or that IRA or 457 or thrift savings account, they're going to backfire on you. And you say, well, Tony, how do they backfire? Well, because you can't just keep deferring the taxes. The taxes are really just postponed. And if we assume or believe that one day down the road, depending on our nation's financial health and the deficit, that we could be in higher tax brackets, not lower, higher tax brackets, then it's really going to backfire on you when you go to take that money out. So the 401k, while it's a great savings tool, I always tell people it's a lousy planning tool because mainly we have no idea of knowing in the future how much in the way of taxes we're going to have to pay as we take money out. And then secondly, the other problem with the 401k, there's actually 3 problems. Number 2, even if you don't want the money at 70.5, they're going to force you to take it out. That's called your required minimum distribution. And you say, well, how's that backfiring, Tony? Well, it could backfire big time because you could have other issues going on financially and from a tax standpoint that's the worst thing you could do is now have to be forced to take money out of that 401k and pay taxes on it. And then finally, number 3, the reason you should be careful about maxing out your 401k is the issue of the tax tumor. As I've mentioned before, my wife, who's a nurse in oncology, we talk about this subject, and in all seriousness, we're not making light of people that have tumors, but I always remind Susan, hey, in your line of work, Susan, when the people die, the tumor dies with them. It's gone. In our line of work with finances, if you've got a tax tumor and you die, it doesn't matter, the tax tumor gets passed off to your kids or beneficiaries who's going to try to use that thing. So it's a terrible, terrible planning tool. So my advice there is don't get the financial world in a tizzy telling you to max out. It's going to backfire on you if you're not careful and if you're a saver. And instead, meet with us and let us review your 401k to see what should be going in, whether some of it should be pre-tax, after-tax, or there are other ways we can be more tax efficient than just maxing out your 401k. Number 2, another strategy that backfires on people all the time is they've been told over the years to buy term life insurance. Now, folks, we sell a lot of term life insurance. I'm a CLU. I've been dealing with life insurance for years. I know that product well. And there are places where term life insurance fits the bill. But if you're trying to do retirement planning, if your goal is to try to use and enjoy all of your money and at the same time try to leave something behind, term life insurance is the worst thing you could do due to the very nature of it. Let's think about this, all right? The insurance company is going to issue you a policy. Let's say you're 45 years of age, and they're not going to charge you much for it. So, Aaron, you're getting ready to buy life insurance at your young age from an insurance company. They're going to give you $1 million policy for, let's say, $250 a month. That's pretty cheap, isn't it?
That's not bad.
Okay, why is it so cheap?
Because I'm younger.
Younger, and they know what? What's more than likely not going to happen in the next 10 or 15
I'm probably not going to die for a while.
That's right. Okay,
probably.
Bingo. Yeah, statistically, he's not. Now, he could. That's a chance he may not want to take, and granted, that will help. The problem is, let's say if Aaron purchases a 20-year term policy, spends, $2,000 a year, and in 20 years, they say, whoops, this guy's getting older, and now he gets a renewal premium for $1,000 a month. You're going to say, oh, wait a minute, now it's getting more expensive. So the problem with term life, it's just for a term. It's like renting an apartment. It doesn't provide permanent housing. So again, term has its place, but for retirement planning, it's a terrible investment. And if you don't die with it, you create an enormous amount of lost opportunity cost for your families. All right, one more before we take a break, because the last one I'm going to spend a little bit of time on. The third type of financial advice or strategy that can backfire on you is advisors, and boy, I'm seeing this more and more now. Advisors over on Wall Street who are creeping over to Main Street, that's where the savers reside. Remember, Wall Street is all about investing and speculating. Main Street is all about safety and security and guarantees, right? So think of the guy that's a gunslinger out there that knows how to operate any kind of firearm in general, but he goes out on the firing range and there's poor old Aaron who just finally got a gun from his grandma or whatever, and he's going to show him all kinds of tricks and how to twirl the gun. And Aaron's like, wait a minute, I don't know anything about that. That sounds awful dangerous. Well, that's what's happening in the world of finance, folks. We have people on Wall Street, and it's getting more and more frequent. They're coming over on Main Street, and they're telling these people to get out of guaranteed fixed annuities. Now, we're not talking about variable annuities. Variable annuities don't have a place for savers. But if a saver has a fixed interest or a fixed indexed annuity, what's happening, these Wall Street folks are coming over, they're convincing these savers that they're not earning enough return on their money. They're actually trying to convince them that they can earn more than the annuity, which there's no guarantee they could do that. And worse yet, they're sharing with them past performance numbers that have nothing to do with what's going to happen in the future. So think about this. If you're a saver, you love the thought of guaranteeing your principal. You know you do. You also love the thought of a small amount of guaranteed interest, and you like the thought of not paying a lot of fees. So I'm defining a saver for you. Savers love guarantees, they love security, they like to keep things simple, they don't like a lot of cost and fees. Here comes Wall Street over on your side of the street, and they're now talking you into moving out of guaranteed annuities and into the structure and risky investments that they offer. Folks, this is scary stuff, and I don't know, you attorneys out there, you might want to be aware that this is happening. To me, it's a lawsuit waiting to happen, because think about this. Let's say a saver has a $300,000 annuity, and that saver loves the idea that it's guaranteed. Now, granted, let's say it's a fixed indexed annuity and it's only made on average 3% over the last 10 years or whatever. So the Wall Street fella comes in and says, oh my gosh, look at that 3% return. Let me show you our past portfolios, which they don't remind you that these are not guaranteed, so I don't know why they're showing them to you. It doesn't mean anything. But look here where we made you 10% or whatever. And, you're thinking, gosh, human nature kicks in. I'd sure like to make a lot more money on my money. I don't really have a game plan. So, okay, here, I'll turn over my $300,000 annuity to you, but it's got surrender charges. Well, a lot of these Wall Street types are so confident they can make you more money, they'll even pay for the surrender charges. So, who wouldn't do that on the surface, right? So anyway, 5 or 6 years goes by, you've given up your guaranteed annuity with guaranteed mailbox money, and all of a sudden, 5 years later, the market crashes. Your $300,000 is now $150 or $200. You should be, and I assume you're going to be very upset over this. So you could have had $300,000 protected, you could have had mailbox money, and instead you let someone talk you into getting out of that guaranteed position and moving over into the world of risk and uncertainty. So folks, you've got to know thyself. This is why I created the 3 Personalities website. You can go over there, and the whole point of that is to determine what is your predominant financial personality. If you want to take the free test, you just go to the number 3, personalities.com, 3personalities.com, and it will give you that feedback and give it to us so we can talk to make sure that what you're investing in is not going to backfire on you. And if you're a saver, you've got to stay in your comfort zone here. If you want to learn how to shoot a gun, take a 6-shooter and nothing real high-powered and get out on the driving range with an instructor like us and safety first and make sure you can use it appropriately. That's how we handle finances. If you want to show up with a hired gunslinger and learn how to twirl the gun around and get an Uzi and a submachine gun and learn that in the first 5 minutes and take a chance on shooting you or somebody else, have at it. But we like to go towards safety and security. All right, so as we lead into that, we're talking about Wall Street versus Main Street. We're talking about things backfiring on you. And you might be wondering, okay, Tony, you've been doing this almost 35 years. You may say, I've kept up with you a little bit. I know that you have a large clientele. I know that you focus only on savers. So describe to me how you, with this worry-free retirement process, are going to be able to help me worry less about money without putting it all at risk. You're listening to the Worry-Free Retirement. I'll be right back with some really good stuff on how to safeguard your money and at the same time never run out of it.
Tired of the roller coaster ride of the stock market? Let Tony Walker show you how to smooth out the ride with your money. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started.
It only happens one time, and only 75 people can attend this exclusive free screening of the breakthrough documentary, The Power of Zero. The Tax Train is Coming, Thursday, April 18th at 7:30 p.m. at Greenwood Mall 10 Theater in Bowling Green. This shocking film reveals why you could be paying far more in taxes in retirement and how you can defend yourself. If you've saved at least $250,000 in retirement assets or make more than $150,000 per year, claim your free ticket now by registering at TonyWalkerFinancial.com/movie.
Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement, and I am Tony Walker, and we're talking about the concept of a gun backfiring on you, and the would-be victim, unbeknownst to them, didn't know how to handle the gun. And if you're just now joining us, we're talking about financial guns out there. They're instruments, strategies that the financial world pitches to unbeknownst to savers sometimes, and yes, those products or those strategies can certainly backfire on you. So the last one we wanted to talk about, I delved in this a little bit with Wall Street folks encouraging savers to get out of guaranteed products like fixed and interest annuities, fixed indexed annuities, government bonds, and certificates of deposit. Those are probably the 4 safest assets out there that savers love. And some of these Wall Street folks are getting very aggressive, encouraging savers to move out of safer territory and into this world of risk and uncertainty in hopes, here's the hope, that you'll make large rates of return based on past performance, which if you look at the fine print, is neither guaranteed nor assured by anybody. So why are we talking about it? So in this example, I want to share with you the concept of called the 2% return. So I've got a question for you. Listen closely, if all we made on your money from now till the time the cows came home, you only earned 2%. Let me repeat that. If between now and the time you die, you only earn 2% on your money, would you be satisfied? Now, before you rush to answer that question, Aaron, don't say a word. There's no way you can answer that yet, right? Because there should be, well, wait a minute. If I'm a saver, and you understand that the safe investments out there, that's about all they're paying is 2 to 3% right now, the ones we just mentioned, government bonds, certificates of deposit, and fixed interest annuities. The question is, how much are you going to need to live on? So this morning, for instance, just had a couple in the office, and that's what their question was. Their question was not, they're savers, by the way, they're already clients, but their question was not, Tony, what rate of return are you going to earn us in retirement? That was not their question at all. That's usually never the question of savers. They'll ask that, but that's really not what they're asking. What a saver wants to know, and what this couple wanted to know is, Tony, next year I'm going to pull the ripcord, I'm retiring, all right? We got all these products set up with you, Tony, and here's their question. Am I going to run out of money? You see, folks, a saver, most savers are pretty good at handling money. Now, I'm not talking about investing money, handling money. Most savers don't spend more than they make. Most savers don't take on a lot of unnecessary debt. Most savers live below their means. So the point is, why would a saver want to try to earn a high return? So let's say they just talked with somebody from Wall Street, and the Wall Street person's going 2%, 3%. That Walker guy can't, you're not going to make enough money, right? Then the fear sets in. Look at what we did. This happened with a client the other day. He was meeting with a Wall Street firm, and they said, look at what we've done over the past 10 years. We've made 10%. And the guy was impressed. And I said, well, first of all, can they really document that? And he said, well, that's what they said they make. And I said, well, did you see the actual portfolio in question? No, they didn't show me that. That's because there's no way, unless they've got one set portfolio, which most people don't. Most people use different portfolios. There's no way they could tell you that. So even though they made 10%, let's give them the benefit of the doubt in the past. In the future, there's no way they can, here's the key word for savers, guarantee that 10%. And worse yet, as we talked about in the last segment, can you imagine moving all your money out of the world of guarantees? You know, you're sleeping good at night, right? You don't have anything to worry about. Yeah, maybe the 2%'s not going to make you rich, but at least if you have a structure or a plan like the Worry-Free Retirement, we can guarantee you won't run out of money. Again, guaranteed, and savers love that. But no, let's say you've allowed a Wall Streeter to change all your money over to them. They may have even paid you a big bonus to move it over so you could cover the surrender charges on that annuity or whatever. Fine. But what if in 5 years we have another 40% correction in the market like we did in 2008? Or worse yet, in the last several months, at the end of the last quarter of 2018, folks, some people lost as much as 20% in just a quarter. So if you're a saver and the thought of losing money feels like it's backfiring, imagine if you lost 20% of your money in literally the period of a couple weeks. So what we call the 2% strategy, here's how it works. We're going to provide very, very low cost products and also low cost strategies. All right, our fees, for instance, even if you do invest money in our Charles Schwab platform, our fees are only 0.6%. You compare that to the other guys, they're usually around 1.5%. I mean, that's a lot of money they got to make up just to cover their fee. So you do need to understand how people charge fees. If we put money with Schwab, it's only 0.6%. What about risk? We have right now ways you can almost have, you can't have total zero risk, but almost absolutely no risk whatsoever. Can you imagine going to bed at night and realizing that the vast majority of your money is without risk? Wall Street can't guarantee that. In fact, Wall Street, if they're going to try to earn you 10%, that means that you're risking your money, because in order to get 10, you got to take a lot of risk. What about taxes? We've been talking a lot about taxes. The last 5 episodes dealt with how we help people lower and maintain taxes and how to deal with that infamous tax tumor that's buried inside your retirement accounts. Usually, at least I've not seen any Wall Streeters deal with taxes. They tend to just disregard the tax tumor altogether, and they just want to focus on making money, that 10% pie in the sky or whatever they're talking about. So the question is this: if all we made you was 2% on your money, but we kept your costs down, we kept your risk minimal, and we kept your taxes as low as they can get them, how much money would you then put with Wall Street? Now, if you're a true saver, you're saying, wait a minute, Tony, if you can guarantee me that I can accomplish my goals and objectives with 2% return on my money, low cost, low risk, and lower taxes, I'm going to put my money with you. Or you might say, well, Tony, I want some of my money at risk. Fine, we can put a little bit of your money at risk, but folks, if you're a saver, there is no reason to keep risking your hard-earned money. Here's all you have to do to meet with me in person. Just log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, and we will set up a time to review your entire situation. And let's focus on that question. Ask yourself that question. Wouldn't you sleep better at night earning 2, 3, or 4% and not taking any risk, not trying to chase all these returns, versus just blindly turning your money over to somebody that may or may not help you out in the long run, or as we said, backfire your money in retirement? So do it now. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. I'll look forward to seeing you then. But remember, between now and next week, between now and the next time we visit, if all else fails, you be worry-free.
If you got it, you don't need it. If you need it, you don't got it. You don't get it. it, shame on you. Funny, funny, funny what money can do.